シンガポールに移住したきっかけについてお話聞いていきたいと思います。それでは早速いきましょう。 Join us SingaLife。 ジム・ロジャーズさんのようにお金持ちになるためにはどういうことが大事でしょうか？
Find your own passion, find what makes you passionate and do it. Do not worry what other people say. The more people who tell you you're crazy, the more right you are. And then focus, concentrate. But you probably will because you love it so much anyway. I mean, I don't want you to think it's easy. It's not easy because many people give up a lot of things, but that's what they love.
次にシンガポールで一番好きなところと一番嫌いなところを教えてもらえますか？
Well, my favorite, I guess, is all the restaurants because I like to go out and be with people and drink good wine. So I guess my favorite part is the restaurant, the entertainment of Singapore. We go out a lot because we like it. My least favorite, well, I mean now everything is closed. I mean the country's closed. I cannot travel. I think if I had been doing it, I would not have closed Singapore. We will know in 3 or 4 years whether they were right to close or should have stayed open. I don't know. I would have stayed open. I would have kept the airport open. I would have kept everything open.
ちょっとジム・ロジャーズさんにとってお気に入りのレストラン、おすすめのレストラン、例えばどこですか？
Japanese. I will tell you that one of my favorite foods in the world is unagi.
Unagi.
You know unagi?
Yeah.
I love unagi.
Favorite food.
I love unagi. And it's not that easy to find, but I do love unagi, but only with Japanese eel and only with Japanese rice. You cannot have Chinese rice, Chinese eel. No, only Japanese rice, only Japanese eel.
ジム・ロジャーズさんってなんでそんなに日本のこと好きなんですか？
Japan is one of my very favorite countries in the world. I love Japan. Everything works in Japan and everything is extremely high quality in Japan. Best Italian restaurants in the world are in Japan. You know, if the Japanese do something, they do it better than anybody else. When I was in university, we used to drink Scotch whiskey. But the Japanese make better Scotch whiskey than the Scotch do now. Japanese make better Irish whiskey than the Irish do now. It's amazing. It's a wonderful, wonderful country. Japanese women are the best women.
日本の女性も最高です。
Japanese men are good too.
Especially her.
Have a heart attack.
今シンガポールに住んでますが、この後シンガポール以外の国に移住するとなるとどの国を選びますか？
Well, because of my children, I would have to move to a Chinese-speaking city. Maybe Shanghai now. It's less polluted than it used to be. Maybe Dalian, but it would have to be a Chinese-speaking city. When my children go away, maybe it would be Tokyo. I don't know.
じゃあちょっと話また違う方向に行くんですけども、投資家にとってシンガポールはどのようなメリットがある国でしょうか？
Well, Singapore has some very good companies that one could invest in. Singapore Airlines, for instance, now is depressed because of the virus. I bought more Singapore Airlines during the virus. There's this company which services the airports. I bought more of it during the virus because everything was closed. Singapore especially, anything, not just Singapore, but in many countries, transportation, tourism, anything to do with travel, hotels were very depressed. So those opportunities exist in Singapore and in other countries.
じゃあ最後2つの質問で終わりたいと思います。ジム・ロジャーズさんにとって投資をするときに一番決め手になること、一番重要視して決定するときにはどういうことを重要視しますか？
Well, I hope I'm going to make money. You're supposed to buy low and sell high, but it's always different. At the moment, I recently bought Chinese wine stocks for various reasons, but I also own ETFs in Japan. So it depends. Everything is different.
一日にどれぐらいのニュースだったり情報を取り入れてるのかなと思ってるんですけど、新聞だったりニュースサイト1日どれぐらい見てるんですか？
Well, my passion is what's going on in the world, so I spend a fair amount of time either on the internet or on the newspapers. Now you can get everything on the internet. So I spend a lot of time on the internet. I knew nothing about the NBA, but I know a lot about Japan, Korea, Pakistan, Russia, because that's what I'm interested in. But I could tell you nothing about the Osaka Tigers or the NBA. So I don't care.
じゃあ最後にジム・ロジャーズさんの人生で最後にこれだけは成し遂げたいこと、夢がありましたら最後にお願いします。
Well, at this point in my life, my children are my main interest. I have 2 daughters. All my life, I did not want children. I thought children were a terrible waste of time. I was never going to be so stupid as to have children. So I had children late. I was wrong about children, or at least for me. I mean, if I had had children earlier, it would have been a disaster for the children, the mother, for me, for everybody. So for me now, my main passion are my children. If there's anybody watching this who has not had children, and you're old enough, go home and have children. You take a day. You take a day off if you have
仕事
to.
休みなさい。
Well, maybe you don't take it. Go home for lunch. Have a lunch hour. And if you have children, be sure to have girls. I know that in Japan and in Asia, many people think boys are better. Totally wrong. Totally wrong. Girls are much, much better than boys. So when you have children, be sure to have girls. Do it for yourself, but do it for Japan. Do it for the world. We need more Japanese, and we certainly need more Japanese women.
じゃあ今日はジム・ロジャーズさんにお話たくさん伺いまして、シンガポールに移住したきっかけだったり、シンガポールの好きなこと、あとはやっぱり何事もですね、もうクレイジーなね情熱を持って何事もやっていくっていうことが大事だなということを学びました。あとやっぱりですね、まずは独身の方はもう子供を作りちょっと休みを持てっていうことなので、私もちょっと1週間ぐらいね休みを申請したいなと思います。じゃあ今日ジム・ロジャーズさん本当にありがとうございました。
Arigato.
ありがとうじゃあ今日もご視聴ありがとうございました。 See you next time.
See you next time.
See you next time. チャンネル登録よろしくね。楽しみ尽くすシンガポールライフ。